Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I have been playing this tank wrong all along. Yes, this tank has only just come into the game, but I tested this tank for a while and I've been playing it completely wrong. Now, the Type 71 comes with the new equipment. Yes, the new equipment, the improved suspension, or you can run it with the improved V-stabs. Now, I've always known the game, for me, to play style, the more gun depression, the better. The more gun depression, the better. And with this equipment, you can have 3 degrees extra gun depression. So I didn't even think to look at the other equipment. Straight away, just run it. But you use the other equipment, you're getting 3 kilometers an hour speed extra, you're getting 16 degrees better whole turn, and your terrain, you're getting 48, 45 and 34 better across the road, ground and water. Now, if you just look at stats, it doesn't quite seem like worth running this over the 3 degrees extra of gun depression. But how I was wrong. And to be honest, even making my review, even with the 9 degrees of gun depression, yes, it has good armor profile. And I know a lot of you sort of raged at that video, they moaned, but I'm always reviewing a tank of how I feel and how I have been playing. And even with the 9 degrees of gun depression, I seem to be getting a lot of shots penned. And yes, the game I played was live. People were like, oh, you shouldn't come outside. But of course you shouldn't come outside, but that's what happens when you play live gameplay. That's what happens. You make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But I thought, I listened to the comments, I looked at the comments, and I thought, what is everybody talking about? Why is people telling me to run this equipment rather than the V-stabs? Wow, like this makes this tank a completely different tank. It is faster, it's more maneuverable, it's just absolutely insane. It really is an insane tank, all just for changing one equipment. It changes the whole playstyle of the tank. It now makes this tank like a medium tank. And looking at the armor profile, the armor profile is actually pretty solid. Yes, I didn't really take a look at the armor profile in Blitzhanger or anything like that until you guys said, and that's where I've been playing this tank wrong. And that's where I like these comments. Yes, I know a lot of you rage and there are some nasty comments, but you know, constructive criticism is the best learning curve that anyone can get. And I looked at the armor profile and I didn't realize actually how good the armor profile on this tank can be when you're angling. The front plate is quite strong, over 300 effective millimeters of armor. And when you play it with this equipment and you have better traverse and etc., you really can play it like a medium tank. It's quite quick. You can see that it traverses it really quick, and because of that you can turn and you can get that bounces. You can angle very quickly and you can get those bounces on this tank. And it's a way that I've never thought of playing this tank, if I'm honest. I've always known this tank to be a hold down beast, you know, with 9 degrees of gun depression. Excuse me, 9 degrees of gun depression, very strong turret. That's how I've always known. And when you're playing it in that kind of situation and you're not really bouncing as much as you should, then I'm gonna think it's not a great tank. But since I've changed the playstyle, or since I've changed the equipment, it really has changed the whole playstyle of the tank. And I will change my view on the tank. Of course, I'm now going to say this tank is a fantastic tank when you run it with this equipment that makes you go a lot quicker and more mobile. And that's what this is, because it's a heavy, now changed into a medium, kind of. It's a heavy medium, just like the old E5 was. And it really plays well. It suits the tank better than having the gun depression. I mean, just look at that armor profile there on the Type 71 on the enemy team when you are angled. It really is strong, and that is one thing I did really get wrong. in my review. I didn't really look at the armor profile in Armor Inspector to see how it is when you're angled. I was just going off the armor from my experience, and obviously I was playing the tank wrong. So it is a fantastic tank. Do I think it's OP? I mean, it can be considered OP, but I honestly don't think it is OP. I think it's very strong with the equipment. I do think it's very, very strong. It's a medium bully. It's a medium bully, and because you have the speed, you can go with your mediums, and medium tanks are really going to struggle to be able to penetrate you. You have the traverse, so no one can circle you because you have that traverse. And yes, you lose out on the gun depression, but it really is worth it. And there's not a lot of tanks that out there that I'm going to say losing 3 degrees of gun depression is worth the mobility that you get, the extra mobility. It never happens. It never happens. But thankfully, we've got this new equipment into the game, and it is good because if you get bored of playing it with like a medium, then of course you can switch it up. You can change the equipment and play it more like a hold down heavy, and that's what I love about this equipment. And I should have looked into it a bit more before making my original review, so I do apologize for that. But I've always known, for me, gun depression has always been fun depression. That's what we've always known it by, but on this occasion it is wrong. So if you are going to grind the line, of course you can use whatever equipment you need that suits your playstyle. You know, this Heavium might not fit your playstyle. Sitting on a ridge with 9 degrees of gun depression and a strong turret, that might fit your playstyle. So just use the equipment whatever suits your playstyle. But I think using the equipment that makes you go a lot quicker, makes it more mobile, I definitely think this suits the tank more. It does then become kind of like a heavy STB. If you are in the open with using this equipment, or not even without using the equipment, if you are in the open, I would suggest to wiggle. You have to wiggle because that is where you will get a lot of bounces. Our guy here, Bobby Gang, he's now blocked 2,000 damage. He's now blocked 2,000 damage, and he hasn't finished yet. He's already on 5.6k damage. It is a 2 versus 3, and there is still quite a bit of hit points, especially that type 71 on the enemy team. But he's now going to be left alone. This IS-7 is going to be killed. There is 2 one-shots, however, so that will go for him. But of course, when you're in this situation, this is where mistakes start to happen, and it's just the game starts trolling you. And of course he does pounce on the T-57, but he's going to give it another go. This time he does take him out. Now he's got the 121B to the left of him, and he's doing the right thing here. He's making these 2 tanks face him instead of one getting behind, and you could just see that armor profile when you are angled. If you look directly at the tank, it does become a lot more weaker, and there are quite a lot of weak points in this tank, as you're going to see here in the turret. You sort of if you sit there, then weak points are easy to get, which is why I say always wiggle, always go in at an angle, and that is exactly what Bobby is doing here. And he's managed to block 3.6k damage already. So yeah, always go in at an angle, just like he's doing there. It's not always going to pay off, of course, but it will get you bounces. And I definitely recommend running it with this equipment. It does change the gameplay, the game style of the tank so much, and it's something that I did not expect. I didn't expect that just changing one equipment slot would change the complete tank completely, and how much it makes this tank much better. So I do apologize for my original review. Yes, I should have spent more time, especially looking at the armor profile and looking at the new equipment instead of just seeing 9 degrees of gun depression. Oh my god, I've got to use it. No, it doesn't work like that. So I do apologize. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With